and whether it was self-limiting or anything, and any dysuria is there. So any associated increased frequency or
you asked patient, you asked him, I want to know the type of hematuria, and the second statement was, I want to know whether it's painful or painless, correct?
Yes.
And the patient has got dysuria.
It's associated dysuria and dysuria.
No, so how will you ask the question very specifically of the patient?
So whether the type of hematuria may be terminal hematuria or
all that I agree. Type this hematuria, initial, midstream, all that. But you have specifically said, I want to know what is. I am querying your second statement, painless or painful, but the patient has got dysuria.
Dysuria. Yes.
But so how will you rephrase that statement?
When during the hematuria, it may be means hematuria may be associated.
Are the episodes of hematuria painless?
Yes.
That's how you'll ask the question, no?
Yes, sir.
No, it makes a big difference to know whether the hematuria is on one side absolutely painless, and on the other side she's also got this dysuria business. Or are both of them synchronized? Or is every active blood stained urine accompanied by burning? Or pain, or whatever it is. That's how you'll ask. Those are very specific questions to the patient. They don't understand all this, you know. So, right.
So the hematuria was gross, painless throughout the act of micturition, associated with passage of blood clots and not associated with tissue beds.
How many episodes actually? And whether it was self-limiting?
She is having the complaint since 10 days.
Okay.
Yeah. And it is not self-limiting.
It is not self-limiting. Means she was admitted for the same and any blood transfusions or anything?
She has come to us for the first time in OPD with this complaint. She has not gone anywhere else.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And since she has a dysuria as well, I would like to know whether it was associated with increased frequency or urgency or urgent continence, and associated with abdominal pain.
She does not have any other lower urinary tract symptoms.
And there is no history of lithuria also.
No history of lithuria.
Any history of poor flow? Or previous surgical intervention, anything?
No history of any other lower urinary tract symptoms, and no history of any surgical intervention.
Begin to ask some very specific questions now. You are not asking specific questions of this lady. You are just going round and round the same history. One thing I have learned talking to patients, their story changes. Story changes from the moment they see you till the moment they leave. So it is your duty to repeat the question again. Sometimes they may not understand. So you rephrase the question in very simple words so that you get an idea as to what is happening. It's very difficult. Have you tried to give a history to your own doctor for some? It's very difficult to remember all these things. So you have to keep asking the same question and make sure that you get the answer at the end.
Only she has hematuria and
dysuria. We all understand. She got hematuria, she got dysuria. I want you to go down into the depths of this problem. They're just skimming the surface at the moment.
It may be because of UTIs first.
I didn't ask you the diagnosis.
Now, see, you are not suddenly changing and that is not the right way to answer.
Don't sidetrack the issue. You will be brought back again into the fold by the examiner.
Tarun, you asked one.
The one which is more predominant, which is highlighted. So now you give whatever of the two symptoms, you give more weightage to what? Then proceed accordingly.
And also dysuria, whether she was previously, means how long the dysuria is there, and they told there is no increase.
10 days.
10 days only.
So you want to be more specific, you want to probe that matter a little further?
Previously, any history of GUTB or anything like
No, again, I'll tell you what. As soon as this case was presented, correct me if I'm wrong, you had already made diagnosis in your mind. Yes or no, correct or not?
Yes.
Be honest. That is a mistake. That is the biggest mistake you made. That you made a diagnosis already and therefore you are channeling all, you must somehow get everything. No. Don't make a diagnosis. Get all the information that you have. Get all the information. Have you got what her bladder volumes are? Have you got her frequency? Have you got how many times she's getting up at night? You just casually ask urgency, any lower tract symptom. Be specific, ask them. How many
They
times is
told
she
us
getting
no.
up? How much is the quantity of urine she's passing each time? You want to know all those things?
That
Has she got fever?
No.
That's it. I want to know what she got. You're thinking in your mind urinary tract infection. 10 days history. 56-year-old male.
No, females.
Sorry, 56-year-old female. Maybe postmenopausal. You have to get all that history. Get all the history. Have you had this bleeding? You have this? Have you stopped? All important. The diagnosis in this lady could gauge from simple UTI, postmenopausal to most esoteric diagnosis. So, ask very specific questions.
What was her frequency actually?
No, they said no frequency.
Yes,
But
no.
anyway, ask again.
Frequency during the daytime was 6 to 7 times, and at night time she doesn't wake up.
6 to 7 times. What does ICS say about frequency?
Up to 7 is normal.
Right. Anything more?
Did you ask about
Frequencies, so voiding
No,
baby,
it's-
bladder volume.
No. I don't know. She may be passing 7 times urine in the day. I want to know what's each time. Is it a small quantity? Is it a large quantity? Supposing I am passing urine 7 times during the day, okay, and each time the quantity is 15 ml, 20 ml. What is your difference?
It's oligurin.
Huh?
Oligurin.
And I have cut down my amount of drinking because I am going to the toilet. Now, what inference can you draw in such a situation?
It's 15 ml per void.
Give a ballpark 50. I mean 50, 100, small quantities.
And because of the intake is less than the
Harish, there are only 2 situations like this. Analyze it. Either that's her bladder volume, her maximum bladder capacity, or she's not emptying her bladder fully. Now you titrate this with the nocturnal getting up. She's getting up only once or twice.
no, so they told no night no frequency.
No frequency in the night. Once
No.
you get nothing.
It's not breaking.
Not waking up. So titrate this with it.
But if at all bladder volume is high, then she has to wake up in the night or
So you put it together and say, okay, there's something wrong here. You have to do it this way, and then we get all the information. Huh?
Can she have flank pain? Can she have a flank mass? Can she have a suprapubic mass?
Yes, ma'am.
Can she have PV discharge? Can she be operated for cervix?
Yes, ma'am. Still we are in the list.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
please.
ask all these
Just
things.
stuck on the urological history at the moment, Sujata.
Pardon, sir?
We were just stuck on the initial urological history. I was querying him on that.
This year.
So it's not.
Yeah, does she have pain? Oh, it's painless and throughout micturition with blood clots. So what can cause such a heavy blood loss? Was she hospitalized for it?
They told there is no hospitalization. There is no
Okay.
hospitalization, and it is there was no transfusion also, and there is no.
Self-limiting, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
How many episodes?
I asked them. They told it was the first presentation at the OPD, and she's presented to the OPD at that.
Okay, yeah. So,
She's got clots in the urine, isn't it?
Yes.
She's got blood clots, and she's got burning. She's got some this painful urination. So there is not much of frequency, there is no nocturia. So you got that so far.
So I would like to know what are the shapes of clouds, what are
Okay,
shapes
all right, okay.
what is some more markers?
We don't know.
She is not very sure, patient. Now what else will you ask?
Any associated abdominal mass or anything,
Okay.
flank pain or abdominal mass, any other, this one is.
You could argue and say that if a patient has got pain, flank pain, they would divulge that as a primary complaint. Because pain is an overriding symptom in anybody's life. If they come to the hospital, pain is the single most important reason why somebody comes to a surgical ward. Or, so you have to know. If there was pain, I'm sure this lady would have told you, but it's your duty to ask whether you have pain, you have this. It's necessary to ask this question.
So she doesn't have flank pain. No flank pain. No mass anywhere.
Or other negative stress. I would like to know when she attained a menopause or any gynecological intervention like hysterectomy or anything was done previously. Or any.
He has attained menopause before 3 years and no gynecological intervention.
There's no past history of any tuberculosis also.
No past history of tuberculosis.
And she's a not a known case of DMHT.
No comorbidity.
But
Apart from tuberculosis, any other comorbidities that you are interested in?
she doesn't have diabetes or she's.
Right. Anything else you want to ask?
They told flow is good only, so there's no
Okay,
interference
flow
or
is
anything. So bicycle
They have mentioned all the history there,
yes.
or whatever.
So there is no history of pyuria or lithuria, no history of lower urinary tract symptoms or urinary retention, no history of fever with chills or flank pain, no history of abdominal or pelvic trauma, no history of flank or suprapubic fullness, no history of any anticoagulant drugs, no history of any recent surgical intervention, no history of weight loss, anorexia, backache or lower limb swelling, no history of bleeding from any other sites, and she has no other comorbidities.
In all this history here so far,
Yes.
with the previous slide that told you that she's got clots and hematuria and some dysuria, and no other Lutz business, in this slide, which you think is an important question that you should ask? Instead of it being told as no, you as a doctor should have asked that question upfront.
She's on any anticoagulants, was elderly and any comorbidities.
Anything else? Isn't weight loss a very important criteria? In somebody who's got hematuria with clots,
But first only one nice.
weight loss. She may have been having a problem for some time, and now what the problem was has surfaced with hematuria. If somebody did have a disease and you are from a social background that is economically underprivileged, you would say, wait, no, I think it's because my food is lacking, I'm losing weight. So people will lose weight. And then they burn private of losing weight. Then suddenly after some time you have hematuria, and that is what brings you to the hospital. So weight loss is an important thing that you need to ask for in the sequence. Okay, so what is your, at this point in time, what do you think is your, I don't think any more history that you want, is there?
It will be UTI, sir.
First question now is first diagnosis UTI.
But TCS doesn't have a
No,
frequency or painless.
give me a differential diagnosis.
Or first, I would like to consider TCC of the lower tract, urothelial carcinoma of the lower bladder,
Why?
because of the painless hematuria which he has.
And
And there is no increased frequency or any
any
pre-prior
other
lads.
important criteria? Any other reason? Painless hematuria?
Harish, there is no need to say urothelial. You can't make a diagnosis of urothelial from this thing. It can be any type, no?
Yes, no, but TCC is most, no, yes, no.
Why TCC? It can be anything, no? Means any other any adenocarcinomas or squamous do not have hematuria, is it?
Yes, no.
Their hematuria is different.
No,
Yeah, means why do you give somebody a chance to ask you a question? Some malignancy of the lower urinary tract.
yes.
What else can be your diagnosis?
Presence of clots with hematuria is a very significant symptom in patients who turn out to have bladder cancer. We are looking at lower tract because all our problems are centered here. So it's an important thing that you look at.
Why do clots form?
It's because TCC will be
Now forget TCC here. Why do clots form in any means in gross hematuria? Common sense, no?
As soon as it bleeds, do you pass urine?
no.
Yeah.
The storage are extended. So when it bleeds into the bladder, then what happens?
Coagulate.
It will coagulate. Or the hematuria is so overwhelming or so profuse that it can, even if he's voiding, he's not able to void the entire amount. Right? Okay. So we were at what is your provisional diagnosis? So is it malignancy of the lower urinary tract or anything else you want to add?
More is vesical calmum, but past history of lithuria is not there, or pore flow is not there.
What is the incidence of primary vesical calculi in women, 56-year-old? Have you seen in the last 3.5, 3 years that you have been here? In a woman, primary vesical calculi.
Primary.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
No, have you seen it?
2 years.
Huh?
We have seen.
What was that due to?
Maybe because of the urethral stricture, prior urethral stricture, and they are dilated and.
There is some bladder dysfunction. Some bladder dysfunction causing the presence of residual urine. Number one. Number two, any other reason for women to have primary vesical calculi?
New reason.
It's possible. That's a bladder dysfunction.
What have you seen?
What other operations can a woman undergo which can produce
Plus.
bladder? You see,
One is, ma'am, UTI, second malignancy. And,
which are material, foreign bodies. Because the women, common reason, they you see, they want a suture material, you will find stone. You take the stone out, you will find embedded one suture in the family. They have some surgery in the vagina, something is eroded. But nowadays you've got this mesh being put for everything. That's a for that erodes inside. So the women to have vesical calculus is an unusual phenomenon compared to men. Simple. It's all the statistics.
Other thing is, since only hematuria, there may be upper tract lesion also, sir.
That's what Madam asked initially, and you should have asked it in a indirect way. That was the query, it was passed up. Well, still want to consider that.
Is this woman a smoker?
That is still not tobacco history and
Well, tribal women smoke, village women smoke, all of them smoke. Quietly they are living. They wish to eat tobacco. All that is there.
what is her occupation and whether she has any tobacco consumption?
Yes, she has tobacco chewing habits since 5 years.
Only since 5 years. That's all.
Yes.
She smoke. Does she smoke?
No, sir. Tobacco chewing.
It's only 5 years history, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So what's your working diagnosis right now?
First will be malignancy of the lower urinary tract, sir.
Okay. And with the proviso, anything else that she could have?
Probably carcinoma.
No. Why is there dysuria? There are two symptoms here, no? Hematuria and dysuria. How would you account for the dysuria?
Along with the UTI also, sir. But frequency.
Along with UTI, there is an associated asymptom. I mean, there is an associated urinary tract infection. Anything else will account for dysuria and hematuria? Do you have any other diagnosis apart from bladder malignancy?
Both the dysuria and hematuria.
Can you think of any other diagnosis?
Huh?
What other neighbor diagnosis can be there?
CSR,
Urinary tuberculosis.
Yes, sir, but they have told you.
they told nothing gynecological.
There could be genitourinary tuberculosis also.
Yeah. What is against TB?
There is no weight loss and
No,
duration.
what is against TB?
Duration is only 10 days.
10 days duration, anything more?
And frequency also is not there.
Now, it's very important to understand the pathogenesis here. If you are suspecting urinary tuberculosis affecting the urinary bladder because dysuria, then invariably the patient will have frequency, both by day and by night. Tuberculosis does not distinguish between night and day. It is bladder. So the dysuria, if it is a painful micturition due to an inflammation of the bladder, like tuberculosis, they will get up both during the day and the night. So that is why it's important to go into the depths of the history to find out as to what it is. Huh? Can malignancy give rise to dysuria?
Yes,
Painful? What type of malignancy?
it's carcinoma in situ. They will be associated with the dysuria.
Yes. Okay. So what do you do now?
I would like to know the examination findings.
Okay.
General examination was normal. Her abdomen examination also was normal.
Anything else you want to ask me? Apart from abdominal examination?
Pervaginal examination also.
Ask.
Pervaginal any abdomen? Hello?
No abnormality in pervaginal examination.
All examination was it is so I would like to have the investigations done. First will be urine routine and urine routine and urine culture also, and also total blood count and serum creatinine and hemoglobin. I would like to know.
What is the hemoglobin?
Hemoglobin is 10.6. Counts are 11,600. Creat is normal 1.
Okay.
And urine routine shows plenty of RBC.
Very good.
Urine routine shows plenty of RBC. No. Gross. I would like to know the urine culture actually, more than urine.
Culture is not sent.
Something cross matching.
For what reason? He doesn't have fever, right?
Yes.
You are not suspecting UTI, no?
One of the differential diagnosis was CTI, ma'am. So, based upon this,
Not sent. Anything else you want?
They did not have any WBC in the urine, did they?
plenty of RBCs and
Plenty of RBC and plenty of WBC.
they didn't comment about that. Sir.
I don't know. If you are suspecting
Pyuria.
urinary tract infection, then I expect at least some WBC in the urine, isn't it?
Sir, it was 10 to 15 WBC.
But plenty of RBC,
Yes, sir.
gross image.
Case of gross immature whether we have to ask for urine routines directly.
The time of, at the patient may have gross hematuria, but at the time of testing the urine, there may be no blood. You are not doing the urine examination only for making a diagnosis of hematuria. If the hematuria is obvious to you, the urinary examination is helpful in a patient who you don't have hematuria, but you turn out to have microscopic hematuria. But the urine examination in a patient with gross hematuria is not to prove diagnosed hematuria, but to prove, look at something else. Huh? You understand? Huh?
Yes.
I may have 4 plus albumin in the urine. I may have 3 plus sugar in the urine. Thank you. Ticket couple of minutes.
Yes, elevated. She has only elevated, marginal elevate of WBC counts.
Okay. Right.
So, like
But
to
what's the hemoglobin?
hemoglobin is 10 they told.
So you are happy with that?
It's anemia, borderline.
Right.
But other, there is no significant weight loss
You
or
know what's the
any.
government of India value for what is the public health fellows saying that how much the hemoglobin should be for Indian women?
13, sir.
30.
For males 15 and females 13.
Is there a range or just one figure?
So,
When we were students, 10 grams was the hemoglobin accepted. Now it has changed because socio-economically our country has improved. So they up the scale. They up the scale, the level. Yeah, 12 to 13. So it means that it's low.
yes, sir.
Yeah, it's low.
I would like to have the USG cable, sir.
Ultrasound.
Yes, sir.
Why you don't go for CT scan straight away? She's got gross hematuria.
Still, we are not able to localize where the immature is.
Hematuria, the CT will localize it.
But if it is in the upper tract, we can tailor it to CT according to it. If at all the lesion is in the upper
CT,
tract,
no, they are doing CT only bladder, CT only this and CT only that. Eh? 200 rupees here, 300 rupees on top, total this. CT. Ask them. Gross hematuria is there.
if the lesion is in the bladder, then
Then what? You won't ask for CT.
if it is less than 3 centimeter, if it is less than 3 centimeter, then CT may not be required. So if it is low grade and just
Suppose I got a 2 centimeter tumor in the bladder and 3 centimeter in the upper tract, like that joker, right? What?
to rule out the upper tract, you can.
This is a pan-urothelial malignancy. Why do you think the guidelines say that? Simply because all these things have to be taken into account. No, people have missed the upper tract tumor and the sort. We understand that primary bladder malignancy is TCC is more common than upper tract. We understand, but the primary may have started in the kidney and you have a deposit in the bladder. Anyway, what does the ultrasound show?
So it's a urinary bladder 4 into 6 into 5 centimeters as heterogeneous hypoechoic mass with minimal vascular tissue, peri blood clot, peri neoplasm.
So how will you make out on ultrasound there's a blood clot?
It is showing minimal vascularity, sir.
No, how will you make out? That this is a blood clot. You
Blood
only
clot.
said possible blood clot possibility. How will you distinguish the two on ultrasound?
Blood clot will be mobile, sir, actually, inside the bladder once the
Okay. So,
and the neoplasm will be attached to one of the bladders.
then anything?
And internal vascularity, sir. Vascularity, neoplasm may take up the vascularity, and there may be a slight calcification around the tumor. Blood clot will not show any vascularity or.
Right. So vascularity will be there in a tumor, and the clot will be fixed and not mobile. Huh? So what are you going to do now?
I would like to.
Are there, you only have anything in the kidney?
No, sir, kidney they have told normal,
No.
maintain normal, ecotexture normal, and
What finding on the ultrasound will alert you to the possibility there is something in the kidney? What findings on, so let me rephrase my question. What findings on the ultrasound will signal you to the fact that there is something in the, that there could be something there in the upper tracts?
means in the lower tract.
No, this is an ultrasound,
Yes.
which is shown that there is a mass here in the blood. I asked you, what is about the kidney? You said all right. My next question was, what are the findings on an ultrasound which will tell you, oh, there is a possibility that there could be something in the upper tract?
It's a hydronephrosis.
Hydronephrosis. Very good. The presence of hydronephrosis is the single most important finding on ultrasound, which will tell you that there could be something in the ureter,
Yes.
right? Or something in the kidney.
Maybe at the VHO.
Anything else on the ultrasound?
There is direct lesions, sir, which is in the kidney or any upper tract, any in
If
the
there is a
pelvis
mass
or
in
anything.
the pelvis, you will see it obviously. Anything more? Anything more on ultrasound?
Size and ecotexture of the kidney.
Size and echo texture. How will you make out size and echo texture? How is that related to upper tract?
So if there is any renal mass, then could be size of kidney may be increased and there will be
No,
ecotexture will.
those are obvious features. I am asking you for subtle things. You don't see anything. Focal caliectasis. If you find that there is a focal caliectasis, oh, so this calyx, why is it dilated? Is the infundibulum blocked? Is the infundibulum blocked because there is a lesion sitting in that? Therefore, this calyx is dilated. If there is a mass, it's an obvious mass. I'm not talking. I'm giving the subtle findings on ultrasound, which will signal you, okay, this is what. So what do you do now? I'll give you two options. Patient come to the casualty, to emergency ward, they have admitted her in KEF, and the ultrasound is showing this, and tomorrow she is posted for TURBT. Accepted or not accepted?
First, I would like to do a CT and then go for any. If there is localized in only in the bladder, then I will consider TURBT.
Why you want to go for CT?
So the mass is also looking at 6 centimeters.
Within
6 centimeters.
6 cm. Okay.
And though CT may not tell invasion, but extravascular PET can be made out. But all it's a bladder scan.
Okay.
And also it rules out the upper tract lesions if at all it's there.
Why not I do the CT scan afterwards? Is there any harm in doing the CT scan after the TURBT? TURBT will kill two birds with one stone.
It is associated with
Is
upper
it? I will
tract.
take out the lesion, stop the bleeding, and I will get muscle, it will give you muscle. I will not invasive TCC, and then I will do CT scan.
That is also. After
No,
4 weeks, we have to consider doing the CT scan.
After 4 weeks, why? Why after 4 weeks?
After
I've already got histology showing muscle, man. So what have I got to do with it?
What is that? What is that? 4 weeks? For what? 4 weeks?
Don't confuse T1, G3, recheck, relook TORBT with this situation. Don't confuse the two. They are two different entities altogether. We are looking at somebody who has got posted for TORBT, taken out tumor, stop bleeding, invasive muscle come, MIBC, biopsy. Then do CT scan. Why 4 weeks you are waiting?
For VTRBT and then
Here, what is the reason for doing it afterwards? Or what is the reason for doing it before? Supposing I do the CT scan before, will I not do a TORBT?
we will do
A
TORBT.
TORBT? Query you, I'm just asking.
We must know. We don't know.
What other finding on CT scan apart from muscle invasion, or you feel to say bladder wall involvement, we can change your decision, or it may be affected by your TORBT. Can anything be affected apart from the bladder wall?
Extra
TORBT will affect what?
Yes, ma'am. Other, if it is
Adjacent bladder wall, it may affect. Okay. Yeah, right.
Yes.
No? Will it affect any other finding?
metastatic, I mean, if it is
Why
any
did it alter metastasis? You do a TORBT, metastasis is there in its own place.
then you can to have a pathological diagnosis, we have to do TORBT, sir.
Yeah, that's what you're saying, that TORBT you anyways have to do, so why don't you defer the CT scan?
Since the tumor is large,
We
that's
are not saying we are not doing a CT scan. You understand why a CT scan is done before and why what is wrong in doing the CT scan after?
Okay, CT scan tells you what all things about a bladder tumor, which can alter the decision for TORBT. Is there any finding on CT scan which will make you not do a TORBT?
TORBT is required to have a pathological
The
diagnosis.
TORBT is 100% required.
Yes, ma'am.
Then
If at all it is in the upper tract, any lesions as associated lesion, then
you can add a procedure.
yes, sir.
Okay, you can add a procedure. That is the only thing which can be different, right?
What other procedure will add? What other procedure will add?
What procedure can you add?
If it is associated with upper tract disease, then radical nephrectomy.
Immediately. You will add it with TORBT.
Yeah, during TORBT.
Upper tract biopsy, sir. That is plexi biopsy we can take for the upper
But
tract.
the ultrasound is normal. Ultrasound is normal. Just show no dilatation, there is nothing in the kidney, everything is alright. See, this argument goes on as to whether you would do CT scan first or whether you would do TORBT first. Alright. The guidelines have said that at 3 centimeters mark, that there is a higher chance of perivesical involvement, a muscle invasion, blah blah blah, and things. And if you do the CT scan before the TORBT, the extravasation effect of the water and all the fluid that you use is not there, and therefore. Well, the argument against it is I have got a tumor in the bladder, I am resected. I will get the histology, I will know whether muscle is invaded, then I will do the CT scan. And I am not looking for invasion. I am not looking for bladder wall because I have already got it. I am looking for distant mets. I am looking for nodal disease. I am looking for liver disease. I am looking for lung disease. I am looking for upper tract disease. Take it from there.
So
If you
actually
do
it
muscle
doesn't
invaded,
matter.
then on the basis of CT scan, volume disease, you will decide whether you will go for neoadjuvant chemotherapy.
So if you are able to do a TORBT in a bladder tumor, you have to do it thoroughly, right?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a 10 centimeter, 20 centimeter mass, then nobody is asking you to do a TURBT completely. But yet a TUR biopsy or a simple biopsy is necessary. That can't be avoided.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
CT scan done before or after TURBT will only affect the findings related to the bladder wall at that point in time.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you have got, suppose if you have not got a muscle invasive tumor on TURBT,
Then CT scan might be avoided.
No.
not
If,
avoided, then you may wonder.
yes, if in a 6 centimeter mass and your biopsy does not show muscle, you are in deep trouble. You want to go back again see, isn't it? Then it will come back as high grade, non-invasive. Then you will do a re-TURBT because the risk is high. The larger the tumor, the more the chance. So you will go ahead and do it.
Okay, so in one situation, suppose it comes as a muscle not included or muscle non-invasive or this thing, and then you would wonder, ki, okay, if I had done before, maybe it would have given me some inkling as to the T staging of the tumor, but no, that's not perfect on CT scan. Is it perfect?
No, ma'am.
No, it is not perfect. Even all these findings, you should also know what percentage it is perfect, what percentage there is a false negative result of this. So these things you should know about CT, about lymph nodes also. All the lymph nodes seen on CT are come to be positive on when you remove them.
Some may be reactive. No?
That percentage and that things you should read and you should know. So same thing about muscle wall, bladder wall invasion. So extravesical invasion, you can 100% be sure that CT is conclusive.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
bladder wall itself, only the bladder wall is
Bladder wall is
dicey. Now you may or may not be, it may or may not conform to your histopathology. So see, such questions are only to understand your understanding of the subject.
Yes, ma'am.
The answer to this is yes and no. Both ways it is okay to do a CT. Afterwards also it is okay in this case to do a CT. It doesn't matter. But you are
Yes.
trying to understand that what are you understanding of a CT scan in a bladder cancer case. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we will show you the CT scan.
During cytology showed few atypical cells. The plain film. This is the arterial phase.
So the patient Sunil on the other not there.
I'm taking after scan. Stone is there.
These are the available images.
Can you start describing?
When the diagnosis. Very nice exam. Side by side.
Same the bladder, please. Go back. So now start describing. Only when you start describing, na, then things become clear. Go behind. Still behind. Or behind. Ruko. Now start describing. Upper tracts are normal, ureters are normal. Bladder के बारे में बोलो.
There is a large mass large mass in the left, occupying the
What
left.
are obvious things? What are obvious things first?
This police.
Police is in place. Okay. What
Yes.
else is obvious? Show me
Another is
some. Is the bladder normal in size, shape?
blood is no, yes ma'am.
Yes.
This is woman.
It's normal, is it? Or
Shape is
shape is?
slightly distorted, ma'am. It's not
Yeah.
globular.
Okay. So the shape one, which side is distorted? Both the sides?
More on the left side, ma'am. Actually,
Okay. Right side?
right side also.
Okay. So both the lateral walls are not globular or rounded.
Yes, ma'am.
Now what do you want to say? Bladder should be filled by what? Contrast.
Contrast, ma'am.
So
Contrast
what's
is
happening?
getting partly contrast is seen in the bladder, ma'am, not fully highlighted.
Contrast is layering.
Layering, no?
Layering on the sides. Wherever there is some space, the contrast is seen there.
Yeah, hardly 2% or maybe 10% of the
That's
tumor.
also told you.
Okay. So what has happened to the bladder?
And possibly there is a full, I mean, since the contrast is not fully
No,
occupied.
describe the radiological findings. Describe them.
And also there is a hypointense lesion in the left
Hypo,
lateral.
not intense, hypodense.
Hypodense.
Hypodense lesion or hypodense mass or whatever filling up the entire bladder.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any structure to this hypodense mass? Is it enhancing at places? Is there is vascularity? Is there is calcification? Are there air specks? Now describe all that.
There is minimal enhancement in seen, ma'am. This in the next film we can see that minimal enhancement of this or
That is contrast. That is not enhancement.
there is no enhancement, ma'am. Then there is no speculated calcification because NCCT also non-contrast is not showing any calcification in the inside the tumor or any blood.
So what is this?
This is
What is happening to the uterus and bladder?
there is loss of fat flange.
So describe a bit more. Yes, sir. What is this black spot?
That Only in one film it is in, ma'am, air pocket, but
So why should they be there?
it may be artifact also, because only one film shows that one. The subsequent films are not showing any means air pockets now. Or since the bladder is catheterized, there might be air also in the bladders.
See, when there's a catheter in the bladder, you expect the bladder to be
Empty.
empty unless the catheter has been
Clamped.
clamped. So they may have clamped it, we don't know. To fill the bladder, they have clamped it. So let us assume that both are possible. That somebody forgot to clamp the catheter has been draining, and somebody did clamp the catheter. In both these situations, what will the findings be?
The catheter is clamped, the bladder will be well distended.
Let
And,
us assume now that the catheter has been clamped. The bladder should be well distended with
contrast.
with
and
contrast, because there is contrast. Now what has happened? What has
It is
happened?
not contrast.
The bladder is
not
distended reasonably, it's not collapsed.
But contrast is
But-
patchy.
The contrast is here and there. So what is that? What is your inference in that situation?
Possibly the tumor is involving the whole bladder. Tumor is occupying the whole side, the inside
So
the
there is
bladder.
no space for this
Space.
contrast here between. So the most of it is by the tube. Any other reason? Any other reason?
Why are you saying tumor? It is not enhanced, right?
Yes. Another is the clots.
Clot, yeah.
Could be clot. What else can it be?
So now how will you, madam has already given you the answer. So how will you distinguish between one and the other is the question. The same way where you did an ultrasound, now you got a CT.
The tumor will enhance on the contrast, but this clot will not enhance. And
Now let us assume that the catheter was actually not clear. What is draining? Will the findings be different or the findings be the same?
catheter contrast will be excreted. So it would be draining the catheter.
Right. If the catheter was not clamped, the contrast would have gone away and you are not very sure what's happening. But even then, if the catheter was not clamped and the contrast was draining away, the bladder should be empty.
Yes, sir.
It's not. So whichever way you look at it, there is a significant pathology here in the bladder. Whether catheter is clamped or not clamped, doesn't make a difference. Again, observe that this patient is a female. Females have a bladder of a certain shape. Most bladders are ellipsoid. Okay? And as a result of that, the borders are stretched. So when there is straightening of the bladder wall, that's not a good sign. Shows that the elasticity or the nature, the elastic nature of the bladder wall has been compromised. And straightening of the bladder wall, as you see here, unil one side, both sides may be involved, is a finding that Madam told you about and need to be emphasized. Is there anything else you want to see?
The tumors are very
No, anything else you want to see?
enhancement of the
Enhancement. Anything else on the CT scan you want to see?
nodal involvement.
No, see any nodal involvement. Huh?
Extra.
Very rarely, sometimes in masses in the bladder which are vascular, just like you have vascular tumor in the kidney, you will see neovascularization. You will see these vessels. It is just that when you look at it from the kidney point of view, the blood flow into the kidney is so much that the contrast goes in through the artery. But here in the bladder, you are not directly injecting into the superior vesical artery or the inferior vesicle. It's just going down. So you may miss out on the increased vascularity that is there because it just floods away and goes on into the pelvic organs and all that stuff. Okay. So now what do you do?
I'd like to do a cystoscopic and
Cystoscopy, OPD,
no, sir, cystoscopy under GA
Under GA.
and clot evacuation with TURBT. sir.
TR. You will evacuate the clot. If there is clot, you will evacuate. If there is no clot, then what?
It's the size of the to resect.
No. If there is no clot in the bladder, what do you do? It's a large thing. Huh? Madam said 10 to 20 centimeters.
Then we have to take TR biopsy, sir, actually, to establish the muscle invasion or anything.
You tell where is the muscle? Where will you get muscle here? Whole thing is bladder wall. Whole bladder wall. Everything you can't see what is there, where the start is, where the end is. To hit the muscle, you have to keep going, digging, finally find the muscle, no? So, is there any other additional finding that will tell you, Arey Baba, boss will come to take biopsy and come on, enough. You can't resect this tumor, just take biopsy and come on. Why did the boss say that?
Maybe
Clinical.
bimanual examination if it is having
Don't forget that, man. Under anesthesia, examine bimanually. If there's a big mass palpable there, what do you want to do? Resect all this. Huh? You see the tumor, there is no clot, only tumor you are seeing everywhere. Bimanual is a mass. Then take it out. Test for biopsy. That's all. Now, what is the difference in this mass business? TDP, difference in this mass, bimanual mass.
mass is possible, palpable, then possible it is invasive.
That's what I'm asking you. One side the mass is palpable. We suspect that it could be invasive. Can the mass be palpable in a non-muscle invasive also?
Unless because
Yes, large bladder tumors which are apparently superficial in a thin individual, you may be able to feel it, but you won't feel it as a hard mass. You'll feel it as a soft tissue mass. You'll feel a mass still. So the physical characteristics of the mass, of the cystoscopy findings, the mass itself, will give you an idea as to what it is. If it's all frondate and papillary and all the rest of it, then you get large volume. Then you may have to resect it. But if it is solid with areas looking angry and area of calcification, anything on the areas of necrosis on the tumor. So there are endoscopic findings which will indicate to you, okay, I'll do it. Generally speaking, women, the incidence of malignancy in women is lower. So what sort of malignancy are we looking at in this woman with this CT finding?
PCC.
When a question like that is asked, you must obviously infer that is not, there must be some other answer to it. This fellow wants some other answer.
No, appearance wise, when I was looking at it, does it tell you something?
It's a soft tissue, this one is sarcoma.
It is not vascular, it is more solid, hypodense, dysuria, clot and hematuria, female. There is no doubt that urothelial carcinoma is the most commonest. But in certain situations, you have to think differently. Which other tumor would you like to consider in a patient like this with this CT? Which other histological variety? Yeah, how many came? What are the histological varieties of bladder cancer?
Maybe a squamous cell variant.
Not variant. Squamous cell
squamous cell
carcinoma of the bladder. The variant is in a urothelial carcinoma with squamoid differentiation. That's different. To primary pure squamous cell carcinoma of the bladder, which is very typical, like this only. Mass is there, nothing, can't see anything, contrast here and there. History is very short, because going on and on for a long time, weight loss, anemia, silently eating away. Yeah? Dysuria, all that. So, we have to consider the possibility this may be squamous carcinoma. Right. So, what have we done?
Sir,
Any idea?
hello, yes sir.
Ah.
We did a cystoscopy. Around 200 to 250 cc clot was evacuated, and entire right lateral and posterior lateral wall was occupied by the mass. We did a biopsy which was suggestive of high grade urothelial carcinoma, sir. Lamina propria was invaded. Deep muscle actually was not available in this. So, as the mass was very large, we did RCC for this patient. And it was
Cystectomy.
high grade. Yes, sir.
What is the final biopsy?
Sir, it is awaited.
Okay. Now, at surgery, what did it look like? Was there, did you,
No, there was no extravesical spread, sir.
no, you said that muscle was not seen in the initial TURBT specimen.
Yes,
You
sir.
went ahead with the cystectomy on the endoscopic findings of high grade TCC, etc. So, did you, as a resident, do anything more?
Sir, we did a bimanual examination.
No, you took out the specimen, Baba.
So, specimen, sir,
What else did you do?
sir, pathologist here does not allow to cut the specimen and see here. They do it there only.
So, how did you send the specimen?
Sir, the entire specimen in formalin.
What did you do with it? What is the described method of sending the bladder cystectomy specimen to the pathologist?
How will you mark it?
Yes, sir. We, sir, marked the urethral margin and both the ureters with different threads, sir. Tie it with different threads.
Yes, sir. You didn't do anything else. I'm asking what is the recommended method for sending a cystectomy specimen to the pathologist?
And anterior, posterior.
No.
You will find out.
That you will find out. Yeah.
Ureteric and
That you will find out.
pathologist will find out.
Why do you send the specimen in formalin? Why do you send the specimen in formalin to the pathologist and not in saline?
So to avoid the cell lysis, formalin is a fixative.
Formalin will fix the tissues so that it is easy for them to process.
Yes, sir.
So, what are you trying to process here?
The lesion, sir.
Outside of the bladder or the inside of the bladder?
Inside, sir.
Inside. So then how will you make sure that the pathologist receives the specimen with the formalin inside the bladder? The correct way of sending bladder to the pathologist is to fill the bladder with saline, with the formalin, close the bladder neck or the urethra or whatever you have done, so that the formalin is inside, and send the entire lot to the pathologist. We just send it like that. The correct way is actually fill the bladder with formalin and close the bladder neck and then send it, so that interior is also preserved.
Okay, sir.
Right. You read your textbooks, they will tell you, man, all the old books will tell you, pathologist will tell you, this is the way it is. We just go the other way, that's all.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, I know that the pathologist, but your pathologist, the pathologist in your place is your wife. You can tell her, no, I am cutting this specimen, she won't fight with you.
Yes, what will VHist?
What will you, how will you make out? What will you do? When you remove this cystectomy specimen, pathologist in your place is not angry with you. Can you cut the specimen and see, or at surgery itself you'll be able to make out whether the bladder wall is involved, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Is the bladder muscle involved in that area? You see the area on the CT scan where it is straightening out. You see that. You can see the serosal surface of the bladder. If there's any involvement, see that all that. So these are things that you will observe when you do a cystectomy. Huh? Right. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Renal biopsy, we don't know. That's high grade TCC, you said.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Happy Diwali, sir.
Thank you. Same to you.